Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the best-known footballers in the world, but he wasn't the man who made the name famous. That honor belongs to Ronaldo Luis Nazario de Lima. These days he's often called Original Ronaldo. During his career, he went by the nickname of O Fenomeno. The Phenomenon. The striker retired almost 10 years ago, and many younger fans will have never seen him at his peak. So in this video we ask, how good was Ronaldo actually? Most players spend their teenage years on the bench. Not Ronaldo. He was world-class before his 20th birthday. In fact, him and Pelé were probably the two best teenagers in football history. Ronaldo moved to Europe aged 18. His first stop was PSV in the Netherlands. The striker was unstoppable during his 2 years there. He scored 54 goals in 57 games. That earned Ronaldo a move to Barcelona. He only spent one season at the Camp Nou, but boy, what a season it was. Barcelona won the Copa del Rey and the Cup Winners' Cup, and Ronaldo scored 47 goals in 49 games before it even turned 21. That incredible record helped him win the Ballon d'Or. He's still the youngest ever recipient of that famous award. Next up was a move to Inter Milan. Ronaldo was superb in his first season there. He inspired the Italian side to victory in the UEFA Cup, and at the end of the season, he led Brazil to the World Cup final. Ronaldo was part of the Brazil squad that had won the World Cup in 1994. He didn't play in that tournament, but he was his country's star man 4 years later. Then disaster struck. On the eve of the final against France, Ronaldo suffered a convulsive fit. Doctors passed him fit to play, but Ronaldo was a shadow of his usual self, and Brazil lost 3-0. Things got even worse for Ronaldo afterwards. He barely played for 3 whole years due to a series of knee injuries. Some thought his career might be over, but Ronaldo didn't give up. He battled his way back in time for the 2002 World Cup, and in a real-life fairy tale, he finished as the tournament's top scorer as Brazil won the trophy. Ronaldo spent the next 4 years at Real Madrid. He scored 104 goals in 177 games for the club, a wonderful record. But Madrid's star-studded side only won 1 La Liga title in that time. Ronaldo then had a brief spell at AC Milan before returning to his native Brazil, aged 33. In his younger years, Ronaldo was a force of nature. He combined pace, power, and technique to devastating effect. I've never seen a player able to show such precise control at such a high speed, said former defender Marcel Desailly. Watching him was like watching a character in a video game. His goal for Barcelona against Compostela summed him up. Ronaldo picked up the ball on the halfway line and used his dazzling dribbling skills, superhuman strength, and scintillating speed to run past half the team. Even Bobby Robson, his own manager, couldn't believe what he'd seen. Robson leapt off the bench and held his head in his hands. Ronaldo helped redefine the centre-forward position. Before the 1990s, most strikers used to just wait around in the penalty area, but Ronaldo loved to move across the pitch and was a magnificent dribbler as well as a reliable finisher. But the Brazilian's knee problems reduced his mobility. Ronaldo was robbed of the explosive pace he'd had in his early days. He had to adapt his game from 2002 onwards. Ronaldo was still an excellent goal scorer at Real. He could hold the ball up and bring his teammates into play. His first touch remained superb, and he was still a clinical finisher. But he was never quite the same player after those knee problems. There were 2 Ronaldos, the one before the injuries and the one after. The second version was still brilliant, but the first was one of the greatest strikers of all time. Just listen to what Lionel Messi had to say about him. He was my hero, Messi said. He was the best striker I've ever seen. He was so fast he could score from nothing and could shoot the ball better than anyone. If Messi calls you his hero, you must be doing something right. Kaká, Luis Figo, and Zinedine Zidane called Ronaldo the best player they'd ever played with. Fabio Capello said he was the best he ever coached. Alessandro Nesta said playing against Ronaldo was the worst experience of his career. But where does Ronaldo rank in the all-time pantheon? That's not an easy question to answer. It wasn't Ronaldo's fault that injuries sidelined him for 3 years and forced him to change his game. But unfortunately, they do affect his ranking. Who knows, if he'd stayed fit he might have continued to play at his 1990s level for another 10 years. But we can't judge him on what might have happened. We can only work with the evidence we've got. So while Ronaldo was one of the most talented youngsters in football history, he's not quite up there with the 5 main GOAT candidates: Pelé, Diego Maradona, Alfredo Di Stefano, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Yet unlike those 5 superstars, Ronaldo was an out-and-out striker, and in that category, he's definitely one of the best we've ever seen. Just look at his goal record. In 518 club appearances, Ronaldo scored 352 goals. That's an average of 0.68 per game. In other words, he scored 10 goals every 15 matches throughout an 18-year career. He was just as sharp for Brazil. Ronaldo scored 62 times in 98 games in the famous yellow shirt. Only Pelé has more goals for the world's most successful national team. But it's not just about goals. German legend Gerd Müller was even more prolific than Ronaldo. But Müller was nowhere near as good as an all-round footballer. Ronaldo's range of skills is what sets him apart. You can make cases for Müller, Eusebio and Marco van Basten being the best number 9 of all time. But it's hard to argue against O Fenomeno. It's just a shame that injuries prevented him from achieving even more. If not for his knees, he would have won 5 Ballon d'Ors, Cafu once said. And who are we to argue?